When Oluchi stepped into the village square that morning, people turned. Whispers followed her steps. Oluchi. Is that not Motsi Udo's daughter? The villagers whispered her name. Some with pity. Some with contempt. Oluchi, the cursed child. Oluchi, the one who brought shame upon her family. But beauty has no price until Oluchi put a price on it. This is African Horror Tales 01, where shadows speak and legends breathe. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, so you never miss a story that chills the soul. Now, listen closely to this amazing story. Once upon a time, in the land of Olo, where the red soil kissed the feet of farmers, there lived a man called Motsi Udo. He was the richest farmer in the whole village. His farms stretched wider than the eyes could see. Cassava, yam, okra, tomatoes, and pepper grew in plenty. People said the soil loved his hands, for everything he touched became fruitful. Motsi Udo had only one daughter, a beautiful girl named Oluchi. At 15, her skin glowed like fresh palm oil under the sun. Her eyes were clear, and her laughter was music in the compound. She was his only joy after his wife, Oma, died many years ago. From that day, Motsi Udo swore never to marry another woman. His whole world became his daughter, Oluchi. But in every village, when a man prospers, whispers follow him like shadows. People began to say Motsi Udo did not rise by hard work alone. Some said he sacrificed his wife for riches. Others claimed he visited a dark shrine in the forest. Yet no one had the courage to say it to his face, for he was respected and feared in equal measure. Even the king could not talk to him directly. Motsi Udo ignored the rumors. He continued farming, selling his harvest, and caring for Oluchi. Every morning, father and daughter ate together, laughed together, and worked together. Their bond was so strong that villagers often said Oluchi was the true treasure of Motsi Udo's house. But where wealth stands tall, jealousy grows even taller. Motsi Udo's younger brother, Papa Chioma, could not stand to see him prosper. Papa Chioma had little to show in life, his farm was small, his wealth thin, and his pride wounded each time people compared him to his elder brother. Slowly, jealousy turned into hatred. Papa Chioma began to scheme. He wanted not only Motsi Udo's wealth, but also his farmlands, his house, and everything he owned. He would sometimes look at Oluchi and hiss under his breath, "When your father is gone, you will see real suffering." In his heart, he wished to wipe out both father and daughter. The chance came during a great village gathering. The air was filled with laughter, drumbeats, and the sweet aroma of roasted yams and peppered soups. Motsi Udo, proud and jovial, moved among his guests, greeting friends and neighbors, unaware of the storm quietly brewing. His only brother, Papa Chioma, stood nearby with a calm smile, handing out drinks and offering polite words to everyone, all the while hiding a dark secret. "Brother," Papa Chioma said warmly, offering Motsi Udo a calabash of palm wine, "it's good to see you enjoying yourself. This harvest is one to celebrate, and I couldn't be happier for you." Motsi Udo chuckled, taking the calabash with gratitude. "Oh, Papa Chioma, you always know how to make a man feel appreciated. Sit, drink with me for a while. Let's talk of old times." They sat together under the moonlight, sharing stories of the past, joking about childhood mischief, and laughing at memories long faded. Motsi Udo, completely at ease, did not notice the subtle glint in his brother's eyes, or the calm that seemed almost too perfect. After the gathering ended, Motsi Udo returned home. Oluchi had prepared a simple, hearty meal to welcome him back, cassava, yams, and spicy okra stew. He ate with gusto, praising her efforts. "Oh, my girl, this is excellent. You have your mother's touch in the kitchen." Satisfied, he washed up, said a quiet prayer of thanks, and went to bed, completely unaware of the danger that had already entered his body. As the night deepened, the poison began its cruel work. At first, it was a faint nausea, a whisper of discomfort. By midnight, the pain became unbearable. He clutched his stomach, moaning in agony, sweat pouring from his brow. His heart raced, his body convulsed. Then by the first light of dawn, Motsi Udo, the richest and most respected farmer in Olo, had breathed his last. The household woke to a silence that was deafening. The laughter of the previous night was gone. Only Papa Chioma knew the truth. Oluchi wept like the rainy season sky. She held her father's cold hands, refusing to believe he was gone. At 15, she was helpless and broken. And little did she know, her suffering had only begun. The night her father was lowered into the ground, Oluchi felt as though the whole world had collapsed on her shoulders. She was only 15, yet she stood alone at the edge of the grave, her eyes swollen from tears. Her mother was gone long ago, and now her father too. She didn't know that the worst part of her suffering was only about to begin. 3 nights after the burial, Papa Chioma came to the compound with his wife and 2 daughters Chioma and Chidima. They did not come with pity. They did not come with comfort. Which is wife's part? "You killed your mother, and now your father too." Oluchi shook her head, tears pouring down. "No, no. I loved Papa. I will never." "Shut up." Pa Chioma barked. His voice was heavy with envy. "You are a curse. From today, you are no longer part of this family." Before she could pack her clothes, her cousins dragged her out of the house. She fell hard, knees scraping the soil. The same land where she once ran barefoot to greet her father was now the land that rejected her. And just like that, the farms, the barns, the wealth, all of it slipped into the hands of Pa Chioma. Neighbors whispered, but no one dared to help. Instead, they turned their backs. Some men who once ate from her father's table spat on the ground whenever Oluchi passed. Women who had borrowed salt and oil from her mother mocked her, calling her cursed. Children, taught by their parents, threw pebbles at her hut, chanting cruel songs. When she went to the stream, they drove her away, saying her presence would poison the water. At the market, traders refused to sell to her, or they doubled their prices so she could buy nothing. Hungry, she begged for scraps, but even the beggars turned their bowls away. Her father's barns, once filled with yams and grains, now fed the very people who mocked her. And the goats that once followed her through the fields were slaughtered for feasts she was never invited to. Night after night, Oluchi cried into the darkness, her stomach empty, her heart heavy. It was as though the whole village hated her, not because she had wronged them, but because her father's wealth had once shone too brightly. With nowhere to go, Oluchi walked the lonely road to her mother's village, tears blinding her steps. The night was cold, the crickets sang in pity. She finally reached her grandmother's small hut. The old woman embraced her with shaky hands. "Nwam, my child, life is cruel." Days became weeks. Weeks became months. But the wounds in Oluchi's heart refused to heal. Sometimes at night, she sat under the moon, whispering, "Why me? Why did Papa have to die? Why did no one defend me?" Hatred grew inside her. Not only for her uncle, but also for the silence of the village. One evening, when the pain grew too heavy, she walked to the riverside as she always did. The moon shone brightly on the water. She fell to her knees, weeping bitterly. Then, something moved beneath the river. At first, she thought it was her imagination. But ripples spread, though no stone had touched the water. A golden glow rose across the surface, forming the shape of a woman, yet not a woman. Her face was smooth and shining, her long white hair dripping wet, but from the waist down, her body was that of a fish. Oluchi froze. Her legs shook, her voice failed her. The mermaid smiled strangely. Her voice echoed, not from her mouth, but from the water itself. "Child, your pain has called me." Oluchi wanted to run, but the water whispered louder, wrapping her heart like chains. "I can give you power. I can make every woman who mocked you suffer. I can make the men regret turning away. But first, you must give me your soul." The mermaid leaned closer, her golden face glowing under the moonlight. "Swear by this river that no human in Olo village shall ever know peace until your heart is healed. Swear, and I shall give you a gift that will change your life forever." "I don't care what it costs," Oluchi said, stepping closer, her reflection flickering in the water. "I will do whatever it takes." The mermaid's eyes gleamed, and a wave of cold swept over Oluchi, chilling her to the bone. "Very well. I will grant you the power you desire, but remember, child, every gift comes with a debt. Every revenge has its price. Are you ready to surrender your own soul to claim it?" Oluchi nodded, fist clenched. The water churned violently as the mermaid rose higher, her tail slicing the air. "Then rise, my daughter. Rise with the curse and the power I bestow, and let the world remember your name." From that night, Oluchi changed. She returned to the house looking the same, but her eyes carried a fire no one had seen before. Slowly, she began to learn the art of making wigs. But these were not ordinary wigs. Each strand carried whispers from the river. Each thread tied women not to beauty, but to bondage. Her grandmother had raised her with stern hands, but also with secret tenderness. The old woman's compound lay at the edge of the forest, where the air felt heavier, and shadows lingered longer than they should. There, Oluchi grew in silence. At first, the loneliness was a knife, sharp and cutting. But slowly, her pain hardened into something else. She learned how to fetch water at dawn, how to set traps for animals, how to weave baskets, and most of all, how to endure. Her grandmother often said, "Life does not end when the world turns its back on you. It only begins to show you who you truly are." At night, Oluchi lay awake, staring at the ceiling. She remembered her father's laughter, her mother's soft touch, and the cruel hands that had taken it all away. Hatred grew quietly in the cracks of her broken heart. By the time Oluchi turned 22, the village would hardly recognize her. The fragile girl was gone. She had become a striking young woman, her skin glowing like polished bronze, her eyes sharp with secrets. But it was her silence that unsettled people the most. Oluchi no longer cried. She no longer begged. She spoke only when necessary, and her words carried an edge that made even elders pause. Her grandmother noticed. Sometimes she saw Oluchi whispering into the darkness, lips moving as if speaking to unseen spirits. Once, she found strange chalk marks drawn on the ground. When she asked, Oluchi only smiled faintly. One early morning, Oluchi braided her long hair neatly, tied her wrapper, and said, "I will go back today." Her grandmother frowned. "Go back? To where they cursed you?" To the people who spat on your name. Yes. But I will not return as the same person they cast away. They will see me, and they will remember. The old woman wanted to protest, but when she looked into Oluchi's eyes, she saw a fire that no water could quench. So she said nothing. When Oluchi stepped into the village square that morning, people turned. Whispers followed her steps. Oluchi. Is that not Motsi Udo's daughter? The villagers whispered her name. Some with pity. Some with contempt. Oluchi, the cursed child. Oluchi, the one who brought shame upon her family. But beauty has no price until Oluchi put a price on it. She first carried a basket to Pochioma's house. Inside were fine lace wigs, sleek ponytails, and a bottle of sweet-smelling hair oil. Uncle, I came to greet you. I bring this little thing for your wife and my cousins. I have returned to start a wig shop. Please accept it and bless my work. Papa Chioma stared in surprise. His wife and daughters clapped with delight. Oh! This is how a good child behaves, he said proudly. They blessed her. The women rushed inside, fixing the wigs before the mirror. They laughed, they danced, they praised the shine. Oluchi smiled and left, quiet, polite, and unreadable. The next morning, she set up her wig stand in the market square. She spread wigs on wooden heads, long curls, neat bobs, silky waves. The sun caught the strands, making them glow like water. Are you new here? One woman asked. Yes. I just started today. How much? Not much, Oluchi answered softly, naming a price so low even poor hands could reach it.